All right, let's dive right into a question that, for so many of us, feels almost unthinkable, especially in a place like Turkey. Can you actually eat a meal and feel truly full and satisfied without bread? It sounds simple, but you know what? For anyone over 50, the answer could literally change your life. Let's get into it.
I mean, just think about your own plate. For so many of us, bread is just essential. It's the thing that makes a meal feel complete, right? It's what stops you from feeling hungry an hour later. But what if that feeling of fullness comes with a really, really high hidden price tag?
Okay, so then a medical expert comes along and says this, just flat out. We don't need bread. It is not a staple food for us. Wow, that completely goes against everything we've been taught. To even begin to understand a statement that bold, we've got to look at what's actually happening inside our bodies when we eat it. So let's do just that. We're going to follow a single piece of bread as it makes its way through your system, because this journey is exactly where we find out what our expert means by the cost of bread. Here it is, the single most important thing to understand. When you eat bread, especially the white fluffy kind, your body basically sees sugar. It's a processed carbohydrate that converts to glucose, which is blood sugar, incredibly fast. So even though it's not sweet, to your internal system, it's pretty much a sugar bomb. And that massive, rapid sugar spike leads to something called insulin resistance. You can think of it like this. Your cells have an alarm bell for sugar. But if you ring that bell over and over and over again, eventually your cells just get tired of it. They start to ignore the alarm. And that alarm is insulin, the hormone that's trying desperately to get that sugar out of your blood. This cycle here lays it all out perfectly. So you eat the bread, boom, your blood sugar shoots up. Your pancreas goes into overdrive, pumping out insulin to deal with it. But when this happens every single day with every meal, your cells just stop listening. The sugar gets stuck in your blood, which makes your pancreas work even harder until it's just exhausted. This is the highway to things like type 2 diabetes. And this quote just captures that feeling of total biological burnout, doesn't it? Glucose, insulin, glucose, insulin. You can almost hear your body just screaming, I can't take this anymore. That relentless cycle puts so much stress on your system, and eventually, something has to give. But wait, I know what you're thinking. What about whole wheat bread? That's the healthy one. Well, according to our expert, it's really just the lesser of two evils. Sure, the sugar spike might be a little bit slower, but look at the calories. They're basically the same. To put that in perspective, 100 grams of bread has about the same number of calories as 100 grams of steak. It is anything but a light, harmless filler. And this all leads us to a really critical point, especially for anyone listening who's over 50. See, for decades, your body can kind of handle this abuse. It manages the stress. But eventually, the bill always comes due. So, what about this number? 5. What could the number 5 possibly represent when we're talking about your health after you hit 50? That's how many chronic diseases one patient was diagnosed with in just 2 years after their 50th birthday. And the expert says this is the super common story. For years, the body copes, it manages the insulin resistance, and then all of a sudden it just can't anymore. And what you get is this cascade of health problems that feel like they come out of nowhere. There's this powerful Turkish phrase that sums it all up, ekmeğin bir bedeli vardır. It means bread has a cost. And that cost isn't the few lira you pay at the store. The real cost is paid years down the line with your health. Chronic inflammation, constant fatigue, serious diseases, that is the true price of bread. Okay, so that's all pretty heavy, I know. We've laid out the problem. So what's the solution? let's circle back to that big question we started with. Is it actually possible to feel full without this stuff? And the answer from the expert is a very clear, very confident yes. Absolutely. The whole key is a mental shift. You have to stop thinking of bread as the filler that completes the meal. It's just another food item. And once you see it that way, you can start building your plate in a totally new way. So what do you do instead? It's actually beautifully simple. You just eat more of the good stuff. Start your meal with a soup, have a bigger salad, and then just serve yourself a larger portion of the main dish, the chicken, the fish, the vegetables. You fill up on nutrient-dense foods instead of empty processed carbs. And check this out, the results can show up almost immediately. In one study, people made only one change to their diet. They stopped eating bread. That's it. And after just 2 weeks, 40% of them had already started losing weight. This isn't about counting every calorie, it's about removing one key inflammatory, sugar-spiking food. So what does all of this really add up to? Well, it's about so much more than just avoiding a diagnosis or losing a little weight. It's about a real, fundamental change in your quality of life day in and day out. And this is a really profound idea the expert brings up. Food is information. Think about that. Every single thing you put in your mouth is sending a message to your body. A slice of bread sends a stress signal, an emergency signal. But a plate of vegetables and protein, that sends a signal of nourishment, of calm, of stability. You are literally programming your own body with every bite you take. And the rewards for sending the right information, they're awesome. As you can see here, in just 2 weeks, you can lose up to 2 kilograms of water weight. That's just inflammation leaving your body. You'll have more stable energy throughout the day, no more afternoon crashes, less bloating, better digestion. It's not about the future. It's about feeling tangibly, noticeably better every single day. So we'll leave you with this one question to think about. As you get ready for your next meal today, what information are you going to give your body? Is it going to be a message of stress or a message of health and vitality? The choice, as always, is yours. Thanks so much for joining me.